Well, this week we need to watch for power moving in silence because unless we're paying attention, the loudest decisions may never make a sound. Stay with me because this one shapes who gets heard in America. On Monday, the Supreme Court isn't hearing arguments, but it may still release a list of orders. These are unsigned decisions that can quietly reshape the law without speeches or headlines or public debate. And many emergency or unsigned actions, especially on the fast-tracked applications, land on what's often called the shadow docket. There's no full briefing or oral argument, and there's no clear fingerprints. Just a few quiet sentences that move the needle of power. And that's how a lot of governing works now. Not with fanfare, but with faint footsteps. Meanwhile, in Washington state, their Supreme Court hears a case this week that could change how we see political ads, or whether we see them at all. The state passed a law requiring platforms like Meta to disclose who paid for ads and how much they spent, and who those ads were aimed at. Meta says that violates its First Amendment's rights. But here's the tension. If we can't see how we're being targeted, or by whom, then persuasion becomes privatized. The public square becomes a feed filtered by cache and code. Then there's the cost of simply being heard. Because on Tuesday, the FCC will vote on changes to the rate caps for phone calls from prison. Right now, a single 15-minute call can cost over $10 in some facilities. Not because the tech is expensive, but because the system profits from disconnection. And with enforcement of new caps delayed until 2027, thousands of families are still paying steep rates just to stay in touch. Connection, in this case, for them, isn't a luxury, but it might feel like survival. The FCC is also set to vote on caller ID protections and new security standards for phones and smart devices. Because when the tools we use to speak or organize and connect also expose us to scams or surveillance, freedom shrinks inside the very screen that we carry in our pocket. And all of this is happening during a federal government shutdown that began on October 1st. We're nearly a month in, and while some senators are floating narrow fixes, pay this group, patch that hole, the bigger question is hanging in the air. When the budget breaks down, who actually governs? And who's getting left out? This week isn't just a calendar of policy moves. It's a pressure test on our rights, on our access, on who gets a voice, and who disappears beneath the algorithm, or the price tag, or the silence. And here's the question I'm sitting with this week. If the most important decisions are happening behind closed doors, how do we reclaim the public square before it disappears into complete and utter silence? Well, Thursday, November 6th, I am hosting a 30-minute Zoom salon. What this means is there's going to be a small group of people, no more than 8 people plus myself. We're going to meet on a Zoom call for 30 minutes to talk about the types of things that we talk about on this channel. It's not a performance by myself. It's an actual open discussion amongst everyone there. So if you're looking to connect more specifically with folks outside of this app and actually engage in a conversation and a dialogue, you might want to think about signing up. There's 4 spots left at the time that I'm recording this. You just go to the link here on screen, and that's where you'll see the spot to put in your info. I'll email you back and tell you that your spot's reserved, and then the day before the Zoom salon, I will send you the link. And the topic is broadly going to be the concept of things that used to work in the past that we have forgotten about, that we might want to think about revitalizing today in order to make our way through the very challenging times that we're currently encountering. So if that sounds interesting to you, if you think you might have something to offer, or if you just want to listen in and hear what other folks are talking about to maybe have some ideas come your way, come on over, join us. I think it'll be a good time. I'll see you there.